Hi, I'm Jeffrey Pierce. I'm here to talk about soul-centered humanity tonight. Um, there's a lot of things that it's not, and there's a lot of things that it is. And I got teased a lot by my students because our classes are 90 minutes in length, and they asked me to condense it down into 5 minutes. So here we go. Soul-centered humanity is not a religion. It's not a spiritual path. It doesn't matter what faith you follow or what you believe. One of the things is that this has been hiding in plain sight for the longest time. And so rather than doing a bunch of slides, I've chosen a bunch of photographs that I've taken within driving distance of Salem to show you some of the beauty and some of the mystery that's hidden in our area. On March 21st, 1987, I was a hardcore little Christian teenager, and I knelt in prayer. And I made a pact with God. And I said, I want to know you face to face. I don't want someone else's interpretation. I don't want some other religion's idea. I don't want to have someone tell me what to believe. I want to know firsthand. And that path took me around the spiritual globe. I spent a year and a half studying with a gypsy mystic, an old Roma woman from Central Europe. I spent 2.5 years being trained as a Native American shaman. I studied Taoism, I studied Christianity. I've gone through the Old Testament and New Testament, both the Greek and Hebrew lexicons, and studied the culture of the time. I sat there and debated the history with rabbis and preachers and talked to New Age mystics. And I came back from that process ready to teach it. And there's some very, very simple core things that I learned in this whole process. And I can't see my notes, so I'm just going to ad-lib like crazy here. The first is that all life is united. It's a shamanic concept that there's this web of life. And I'm sure that most of you have heard about that at some point in time. And it's deeper than that. And that's why the Native Americans had such a respect for everything that goes on. The second principle is that we are divine. If you rolled back time through evolution, through the beginning of the solar system to the moment before the Big Bang, when there was nothing in physical reality, the only thing that's there is God. And so everything that came from that point, whether we call it God, whether we call it goddess, whether we call it the spirit, whether we call it, it's made from that energy, which means that we are made from that energy, which means that we are incredibly powerful spiritual beings, so powerful that we limit our own divinity. Our class, we meet the second and fourth Sundays of every month at the old Pringle Schoolhouse. It's on the corner of Kubler and Battle Creek at 6:30. Last Sunday, we reached out and touched our soul, physically touched it. I learned part of the technique from the Native Americans, and I learned part of the techniques from some Tibetan mystics. But we actually did, and then we realized that we could go around the room and feel each other's. And every person in the entire world feels different. And this is a technique we teach in 5 minutes time. I have taught people from the age of 3 up to the age of 80, and they all pick up on it immediately. Sunday, November 22nd, we are going to sit down and we're going to embrace shamanic journeying, and everybody in our class is going to journey. We are going to look at the fabric of the dreamscape, and we're going to learn to interpret it and travel out from it. The problem that we've found is in our culture is that our entire thinking process is out. We allow other people to validate ourselves. We allow them to define our identity, and we never stop and reconnect with that soul. And we never stop and say, hey, who am I? And each of us is this amazing, incredible blessing. We're this absolutely unique expression of spirit. And we have been given to the community and our families, and we are a part of this dynamic web of life, and so many of us belittle ourselves. But this isn't a path where there's sin or you're told to do right or wrong. You could be Baptist, you could be wicked, you could be anything under the sun. This is how to connect with your center, with your soul, to actually find it, to find your path, and then use that to navigate through life. We talk about the fact that our heart is our map and our instinct is our compass. And those are great concepts, but you have to be taught how to feel them, how to connect with them, and how to use those things to navigate through life. This is insane where this can take you. When I was studying with Nuka, she was a Micmac woman that I became a shaman with. She couldn't teach me all of the concepts because I'm Caucasian. She could give me principles and theories and then said, go out into the wilderness, and when it works, come back to me and we'll talk and you'll get your next lesson. And so everything that we do has to work. This is tangible, repeatable, almost scientifically verifiable material. Thank you.